Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited to do this week's video. I thought it would be a really fun idea to take my most recent 5-star romance read and compare it against the most popular TikTok books for romance that are out there. The 5-star book that I read most recently was actually in January, and that was Happy Place by Emily Henry. So for those of you who aren't familiar with this book, basically takes place at a summer lake house where a group of friends gather every year, and two of the friends in this group were actually engaged. They basically hide the fact that they are no longer together from their friends, and we have to see how it goes from there. Now, this book does have readers, I think, falling on two different sides of the spectrum. You either really love it or you really don't like it. That is because there is a miscommunication trope in this book. I do tend to struggle sometimes with miscommunication, so I felt very seen by this book, whereas there are people who may not be as big of fans, so I definitely understand. But for me, this book was everything. So I thought it would be a really fun idea to compare this book against some of TikTok's most popular romance books, which are these books. So we have Love in Other Words by Christina, Love Theoretically by Hazelwood, and Better Than the Movies by Lynn. So I will be reading all three of these books and determining if any of these are going to be 5-star reads, if I like them, in honor of Valentine's Day in the month of February. So I just thought it would be a fun idea. So I am going to start with Love in Other Words and then go on with the other two books in this order. I will do check-ins with you guys and just let you know where I'm at, how I'm feeling about them. All right, I'll check in with you guys in a bit. Bye. Hey guys, what's up? Right now I'm about 15% of the way through Love in Other Words. So far we have met both of the two main characters. So we meet the female main character whose name is Macy, and then the male main character, his name is Elliot. So far this story is taking place in two different time periods. In this case we're going back in time to when Macy and Elliot first met. Start to see their little friendship start to develop. They both have a really big passion for reading, which I think is adorable. It's really cute so far. It's a very nostalgic feeling of just like a childhood friend coming over and just hanging out and talking. From what I'm gathering so far, Macy and Elliot's relationship went from like a friendship and grew from there as they got older and maybe developed into something a little bit more romantic. And then something happened that Macy blames Elliot for, but we don't know yet as the reader. And their relationship takes a break from there and they have like no contact for about 10 years. So basically at the very beginning of the book, Macy runs into Elliot and we kind of see what happens from there. There are so many things so far that I am just absolutely eating up and loving about this book. First of all, the characters. I really love Macy's character as well as Elliot's character. Really tell that they have a connection and chemistry built up together just like right off the bat. So it's really cute. I think their little childhood friendship is precious, and then in the present day you can really tell that they still have chemistry going on. So that's all I'll say for now, but so far I'm really loving it. I love the writing style, I love the banter, and I'm loving the characters. And oh my gosh, I love the Northern California references in this story. It takes place in Northern California, which is where I was born, so it's very nostalgic for me to read this. But yeah, I've just been really loving it so far, and I can't wait to see where it goes from here. So that was it for now, and I'll see you guys at the next check-in. Hey friends, so it is the next day, but I wanted to come on and do another update for Love in Other Words. So last night I got about, I think 53% of the way through the book. So what's happened so far is we really start to see Macy and Elliot start to rekindle their friendship after taking an 11-year break. And that's happening in the present day. So we see them meet up for coffee. They start talking a little bit about what happened in the past. They still haven't mentioned specifics of the big event that happened. But right now we're also getting a lot of what's happening with Macy specifically because she's tied up in a situation and we're seeing how she's basically handling that. But I feel like because of the way that it's being handled, it's gonna be easier to come to a resolution. All the tension, all the stakes are just kind of gone. So I wish that would have been done a little bit differently. I still don't know. I'm only halfway through. It could be different. So I also feel like the way that pretty much all the characters in this book have a good, healthy way of communicating and expressing their emotions to other people is actually really well done. And that is something that I give big props to this book for. It's just so nice to see in a book like this, and I feel like it does it really well. I will do another check-in in a little bit, but that is where we've gotten to so far. So I'll see you guys soon. Hey guys, so I wanted to do another quick update on Love in Other Words. I'm currently about 73% of the way through and I'm still really enjoying it. We still don't know what happened between Macy and Elliot that caused them to stop talking for 11 years. So I'm really curious to find that out. I've been tabbing this book a lot. So I've definitely been enjoying it, but there are some things that maybe aren't like my favorite. That being said, since I am 73% of the way through with this book, I am going to go ahead and pick up my next romance book. So that is going to be Love in Other Words by Hazelwood. I'm curious if this is going to be a 5-star read for me because this is supposed to be a romance between two STEM people. So that already has me super intrigued. And I've heard really great things about Hazelwood's writing style, and I'm just really excited to read this. So Love in Other Words, I have another about 25%, and then Love Theoretically, I will be starting today. That is it for now. I'll check in with you guys later. Hi friends. Okay, I wanted to do my final check-in for Love in Other Words. There are so many things that I really enjoyed about this book. There are also some things that I wasn't the biggest fan of, but we finally have found out what happened all those years ago between Macy and Elliot. It was really shocking and really heavy, so I was pretty surprised by that ending, but I also saw how it played into everything that happened between them. Now I'm gonna have to sit on what my final rating is with this one because I'm kind of torn at the moment. Based off purely the vibes of this book, I preferred Happy Place over this one. Don't get me wrong, this book is absolutely worth the read. I do think I'm gonna have to sit on this rating for a little bit. So my next check-in with you guys will be for Love Theoretically, and then we'll keep going from there. So I'll see you guys soon. Hi friends, so I wanted to come on really quick and just do an update now that I'm about 26% of the way through Love Theoretically. So far, I'm really enjoying it. So the two main characters of this book are Elsie and Jack, and they're both physicists, but it turns out that they're actually like long-term rivals in this like physics realm, in this physics world. It's been really funny to see that dynamic so far and just seeing how much they don't like each other and where that kind of anger comes from. I think the banter is really funny. I like the writing, and I think just the overall vibe is definitely a little bit more kind of upbeat and spunky, I would say, than the vibe you get when you read Love in Other Words, whereas this one feels just like reading from Elsie's mind, and she's very quirky and just funny and has a really interesting way of viewing the world. So I really like reading from her perspective and reading about Jack. He actually reminds me a lot of Jax from the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy, so I'm really liking his character and just kind of like his mysterious, like moody vibe that he brings. So that is the update I have for you for right now. I did start annotating this book as well because I'm really loving it. I will give you guys an update in a little bit. Hi friends, it's been quite a few days since I've last checked in. So I just had a really relaxing weekend. I was just trying to get caught up on some household chores, things like that, and then we also went to watch the Super Bowl with some friends, so that was really fun. But I basically didn't have another chance and do a proper update the way I wanted to. It's now Tuesday and I have updates. So I did finish Love Theoretically. Basically our main character Elsie, she is struggling to get a position within the theoretical physics research realm, teaching realm. I felt like Elsie as a person was really relatable for me in particular, because as a recovering people pleaser who would like change how I acted around other people, that's the same thing that she does, and I really love how that is handled. I feel like the main characters in this book really complement each other well to overcome some of those harder like personality traits. Now, I will say, there's a couple of things that I'm not like the biggest fan of. I personally am not a fan when the male main character is like this giant 6'4" muscle dude and the female main character is like a tiny woman. I don't know, it just makes me feel kind of icky. It kind of gives off like an infantilization of the women, and personally I'm not a fan of that. I don't really like that. So there was that aspect. I also thought there was a little bit of instances where I felt like Jack was kind of mean at times. There were moments in the book where he would kind of have a strong reaction to something, and then it would end up being Elsie who apologized for it. And it just, I don't know. I feel like all of the character development that happened was really done by Elsie, where Jack's character development was maybe lacking a little bit. I would say the vibes of this book give me like really happy, quirky vibes, whereas like Love in Other Words just deals with some more heavier content, but I feel like this one had more flaws in it. I'm still deciding between like the final ratings that I'm gonna give them. So they're both between a 4.5 and like a 4.75. I'm just not exactly sure yet where I'm gonna place them. So while I sit on that, I'm gonna go ahead and pick up my next read, which is Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. I'm so excited to read this book. This one I've been waiting to read for a long time. So I figured now would be the perfect time to pick this book up because today is February 13th and obviously it's the day before Valentine's Day. So I wanted to have this cute little rom-com vibe book around Valentine's Day. So I will check in again with you guys when I have another update. So I'll see you guys later. Okay, hi friends. I'm gonna have to make this quick because my cat is here and he's being very needy right now. So he's like rubbing up on my camera and just being super needy. So there he goes. But I did want to come back and do an update really quick because I am now 15% of the way through Better Than the Movies. So far, we've met our female main character, and her name is Liz. So Liz is a senior in high school, and she's struggling because she lost her mom when she was a child, and in her senior year of high school, there's all these big milestones happening, and she's seeing all of her friends' parents be involved, especially their moms, and she's been having a really hard time with that. We've also met another character, and his name is Wes. Now, Wes is Liz's next door neighbor that she has known since she was a kid. So they're long-term friends, but they are also kind of rivals. They reminds me of Grumpy Sunshine dynamic a little bit. For some reason, Wes really reminds me of Cardan from The Cruel Prince, but he's not cruel like at all. It's just his like vibe really reminds me of Cardan. I'm liking it so far. I think it's cute. I will say I have been struggling to read this book. I feel like with my ADHD, it's just been a little bit of a harder time for me to like stay focused and stay engaged in this story. It does read a little bit young, so I think that might be contributing to why I'm having a hard time focusing, but I am listening to the audiobook as well as reading the book in tandem so that I can try and really pay attention to it. But I don't know, I might put it down and then come back to it later if I just need to take a little break, we'll see. But from the way that Lynn Painter's writing is so far, it definitely gives me nostalgia. I remember having some of these thought processes when I was a senior in high school, and it's just very nostalgic. So I think it's really cute so far and I'm really enjoying it. That is all for now, and I will check in again later. Hey friends, happy Valentine's Day. I hope you guys are having a great Valentine's Day, whether you're celebrating with somebody else or just by yourself. I am about to go to CVS. I'm gonna go pick up some little Valentine's Day snacks for my husband. I'm gonna get him some of his favorite little treats, and then I'm gonna come back home and do some reading. And in the meantime, I have my little babies right here. I just have to show you guys this. Hi friends, so it is now the next day, so today is February 15th, and I wanted to come back on and do a really quick check-in for Better Than the Movies. So I am now about 30% of the way through the book. So with where I'm at right now, Liz and Wes have struck up a deal to fake date in order to win over the affection of the guy she's like actually has a crush on. So I think their dynamic is actually really sweet. I really like Wes. Even though Wes can be a little bit grumpy, a little bit reserved into himself, he definitely has really good observational skills and pays attention to things that Liz likes. I'm not sure if it's the pace or the writing style, but this has been a little bit difficult for me to get sucked into the story. I have been kind of dragging my feet a little bit. The chapters are really long. Okay, look at this. I'm not a fan of long chapters, so let me show you guys really quick. This is a chapter. This is actually the chapter I'm currently on right now. I'm only about 30% of the way in so far, and I do really like it, but I'm not quite sure this is gonna be a 5-star read for me. And I think that's because of how much I have not been really drawn into this story. Not to say that it's not cute or that I don't like it, because I really do, and I actually really like it so far. When I pick up a 5-star book and I'm reading it, I feel like it's so hard for me to put down, and I just totally forget that I'm even reading. And with this book, I definitely feel more of the effort with reading. So I did also want to add really quickly, and my husband and I have been talking for a little bit about what little craft we wanted to do, just to have like a fun little activity to do together on Valentine's Day, since it was like a Wednesday in the middle of the week. So we sat down together and made some mini books. But like, look at this. Look how cute this is. Shut up, this is so cute. So we made a ton of these little mini books, and I don't think I'm gonna get a mini bookshelf. I think I'm just gonna keep them in like a clear jar, and I think I'll keep like TBR books in one and then books read in another jar, which I actually have over here. So these are the books that I've already read this year, and these are like some of the TBR books. So that was our little fun project we did on Valentine's Day. It was so fun. And honestly, it was really easy. So if you guys want more information on that, I can give it to you. I just referred to like a TikTok video. I just searched mini books or like how to make mini books, and it was like literally the first one that popped up. I am so happy to have those. I think what I'll do in my little like monthly reset wrap up videos, I'll just kind of go over adding whatever books that I finished to my little completed jar, and we'll just go about it that way. I think that's pretty much it for the update that I have right now. I will update you guys in a little bit. Hi friends. Okay, so I have another update for Better Than the Movies. I'm about 60% of the way through the book now, and I'm very happy to say that it has picked up. I will say that the book is still pretty slow. The chapters are really long, but I'm much happier with where the story is at. I feel like things are actually starting to kind of fall into place and are starting to happen now, thankfully. So far, Liz is still struggling to adjust in her senior year after her mom's passing, which is obviously understandable. And she's struggling to embrace her new relationship with her stepmom and accept her as a mother presence in her life, as well as relationships between her friends and between her and Wes, and she's just trying to navigate it all. So I do really feel for Liz, but I also understand that these are some of the steps that Liz has to go through for her healing. So I'm excited to see how she ends up finding resolution in some of these difficult relationships. And I really like Wes. I feel like he has a really good head on his shoulders and is just a really good support for Liz. I'm really liking where the story's going, so I'm curious to see how she resolves these conflicts and how the story just continues from here. So I will check in with you guys in a little bit, and I'll see you soon. Hi friends. All right, so we have finally made it to the last portion of this video, and I have a couple things to talk to you guys about. So I did finish Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter, but I'll wait to talk about that in its final wrap up when I get there. So I'm just gonna start in order of the books that I read, and that is starting with Love and Other Words by Christina. So it's been about a little over a week since I've read this book, and I just feel like it has been on my mind ever since I read it. I really feel like the characters were so relatable for where they're at in their life and just the kind of people that they were. I felt like really connected to me. I just feel like I read this book at the wrong time. Just the vibes of the book were just not where I was at or prepared for right now. So that is the only reason why this book is not getting a 5-star rating, because I just feel like the vibe didn't really sit well with me. It was just a little bit of a sadder book, and I wasn't really expecting to pick up a romance book like this, but it did catch me by surprise in a great way, and I highly recommend this book. It is just beautifully written, and the story and the message of this overall book are just really, really lovely. So I definitely recommend it, but it was not a 5-star read for me, and I am a little bit bummed. Honestly, if I pick this book up again in the future, maybe in like the fall time or just when I'm a little bit more ready for something like this, I feel like it could be, but at this point in time, it was not. Moving on next to Love Theoretically by Hazelwood. I did really enjoy this book, but I did have some issues with it. First of all, the infantilization of Elsie's character, where I feel like I just didn't enjoy the dynamic between a really big guy and a very, very small petite woman. That to me just doesn't really sit well. I also didn't enjoy that Jack did come off as kind of a bit of a jerk. He was a little bit mean towards Elsie, and for me that also didn't really sit well. I didn't find it to be an attractive quality to him, and for those reasons I did give this book a 4.5 stars. But I will say the vibe was great, the overall reading experience was a joy, and it definitely got me back into a happier, more uplifted mood after reading Love in Other Words. So I did really enjoy it, and I know this book is a great 5-star read for a lot of other people, but just for me it wasn't. And then finally, we are concluding with Better Than the Movies. So I did save the final check-in for this book for last and just wanted to include it in its overall wrap-up tie-in. Since it's now been a couple of days since I finished this book, and I just wanted to kind of sit and reflect and make sure I was being fair in how I was rating this book. I really like that Liz had to find resolutions to all the conflicts that she was in her interpersonal relationships. I feel like they were handled really well and allowed Liz to have the right amount of growth that I would expect for a high schooler. I also really love to see her and Wes's dynamic change throughout the book. That's all I'll say about that, but their dynamic is really cute and I really enjoyed Wes as a character. I think the ending of this book for me just felt like the perfect little wrap up to this story. It very much felt like a 90s rom-com vibe, so very sweet and wholesome. So I did enjoy this book, but the overall reading experience of this for me was a little bit of a drag. Like I mentioned before, it did feel like a struggle the whole time to keep myself engaged until the conflict started to kind of arise more. Then I became a little bit more attached to the story, but I really, really did enjoy it still. I thought it was really cute, and just because for me these books didn't really land a 5-star feeling doesn't mean that they won't for you. With that said, that does mean that Happy Place is still the overall reigning champ for me for my romance reads, but I still had so much fun doing this video. I would definitely like to do something like this in the future, maybe do a different genre, maybe kind of switch it up a little bit, and let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let me know if any of these books were 5-star reads for you guys. So that was it for this week's video, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in with me, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.